Hello everyone, this is Dawn over at Plot Chronicles. I want to talk to you guys about a book that will get you out of your reading slump. It's one of the things I love to talk about. I wish I could do one of these videos every week, but I don't every week always read really good books. Let's get started and talk about it. Now this is a thriller, but guess what? Tomorrow I'm going to be discussing a historical fiction because I am trying to branch out where I'm not always doing thrillers. And a lot of things I read just don't seem to capture my interest. But this book was really good. It is called You Deserve to Know by Aggie, Blum. Anyway, I want to tell you about this book. I listened to it on audio. Now, you guys know I use the Libby app on my phone. I do read some actual physical books, but most of what I read is off the Libby app. And I'm so grateful for it because this way I really don't have room to store a bunch of books, and this is really helpful. If I didn't do that, I would probably need to go to the library once every couple weeks and just get books and then bring them home with me. But I read quite a few, so if I went to the library every couple weeks, I'd probably need to get at least 6 books just in case. But I do enjoy listening to the audio. And this audio was good, but this book is called You Deserve to Know by Aggie, Blum. I'm going to tell you the basic story about it, and it kept my interest. What I loved is you really got to know the characters, and it didn't get boring and it didn't lag in the middle, which you know that's one of my biggest pet peeves. But you've got 3 neighbors. You've got Gwen, you've got Amy and Lisa, and then you have their husbands, okay? And then everybody has kids also. And so they're living in this nice, quiet, suburban neighborhood, you know, and you can imagine something like this. And I'm thinking they're all upper middle class, that type of thing. Well, one of the things I want to mention is the lady Amy and this other lady Lisa were friends first. Well, Lisa, and you'll get to know this character more if you decide to pick up the book, is kind of, she doesn't want other people to come between their friendship, and, because she kind of almost wants Amy all to herself, okay? Well, this other lady comes into the mix, and she had come into the mix before the story began. Her name is Gwen. Well, she's also friends, but Gwen and Lisa don't like each other. I don't know if you guys have ever had a friendship like that, where you're friends with somebody, okay? You got a friend, her name is Sally, and you and Sally are really good friends. Well, then somebody else somehow comes into the mix, okay? I've had this kind of situation happen before, and somebody in the group doesn't really get along and you feel the tension, they don't like them. Well, Lisa and Gwen didn't really care for each other. I'll just say that, okay? So there was lots going on with that. Anyway, one of the woman's husbands becomes, well, I can tell you because it says in the it's Gwen's husband, is unalived. And they thought at first it was an accident, but no, it was not an accident. So it's a story of what happened, how did it happen, and then also in the story, Amy's husband goes missing. So you're like, what on earth is going on? There's all sorts of mysteries and things happening, lots of twists and turns. What's kind of good is it kind of goes back a little bit into history a little to learn more. But what I really like is that this book is very fast-paced. It keeps your interest. You get to know the characters, and everybody seems to have secrets, okay? Which really makes it a good book. I don't know that I would give it 5 stars, but I would rate it a little higher than 4 stars. Because for me to find a book that really keeps going, I really enjoyed it. So, it's called You Deserve to Know by Aggie Blum. I have read another one of her books, and I want to tell you the name of it. And I thought this book was good too, but I hadn't read it for a while. When you read a lot of books, you tend to sometimes forget, some of them. Because I remember reading this book, but I don't remember what I actually thought about it, if that makes sense. So let me tell you the book was called Such a Lovely Family. I thought it was a good book. I remember liking it, so I thought I would share this. So, I do recommend reading You Deserve to Know. I know this much. It will keep your interest, and I thought it was very interesting. From what I remember, it doesn't have a bunch of swearing or anything graphic or anything like that. And no gore or anything. So I wanted to give you that review. Tomorrow I'll come back and I'm going to briefly discuss I read one of my friend's favorite books, and I want to share about that tomorrow. Thanks, everybody. Love you. Bye.